Hey y'all, it's your girl Mariah Sincere, and I'm back with another video. I'm gonna give everybody an opportunity to get in here and leave a comment if you're watching. Y'all, I really have not been feeling like it. I'm just gonna be completely honest. The winter, it kind of takes you down, but I've also been really great about being intentional. I'm grateful that I have an awesome group of homegirls who hold each other accountable every day. We talk every day about what we're accomplishing, what we're doing. So that's really keeping me from just letting my winter days go by and not accomplishing anything or not having any motivation until the springtime hits and the sun is out because really the winter is the time to really get ahead of things and do the work. Please make sure that if you are joining the live that you hit the like and comment. So I actually did a live. What was that, last week? That's why I didn't come on last week. I did a live on Men Tuition channel about the passport bros. If y'all don't know, I went to Colombia last year during spring break just to see what was really going on. Hey, Mr. D, how are you today? You know what, Mr. D, I'm actually really glad that you're here because, you know, I would like for you to give your opinion on this topic. As a man, So, but yeah, I went to Colombia during spring break and I met some passport bros and they let me into their world. So I went to Mentuition channel and we did a live about that. I'll link it after the live. So if y'all want to go listen to it, y'all can go hear it. But it was actually really interesting. And I find that every time I talk about this topic, people are very interested. I don't know what it is about the passport bros, but they have everybody watching them. Like the passport bros got the entire community in a chokehold. So this Saturday, I'm going to go live and I'm going to talk about my experience there more in depth as well as answer some questions if y'all want to know. With that said, let's get to the topic of this video. So we have Miss Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert, who have been married for some years now. Hey, Binky, what's up, girl? Glad you joined the live. But yes, so they've been married for some years now, but it's apparently they've been in the process of getting a divorce. The public just didn't know about it. Mind you, Teyana Taylor has always been talented. No, she never reached, Rihanna or Beyonce status, but what I'll say is she's consistently been in the public eye. She's a hustler. She knows how to keep her name in the conversation. And honestly and truly, I don't think that she rose to the star status that she should have because she's very talented. She can sing, she can dance, she can act, she can do everything. There's nothing she can't do. So when she got with Iman Shumpert, he was playing in the NBA, which I don't necessarily remember what team he was playing in. I don't think he plays in the NBA anymore. But to me it was a good look. They look good together. For the most part, it's been an unproblematic relationship. I remember like a couple of years ago, there were some cheating rumors. I also remember Teyana Taylor did too much talking and was going on interviews telling people that they go out of the country and do threesomes after she made that song Three Way on her album. So I do think they put too many people in their business. Okay, Mr. D says Iman Shumpert played for the Knicks, the Cavs, the Nets, and Sacramento Kings. Mr. D, does he play basketball anymore? You let me know. Um Now they're getting a divorce, and basically Tiana is saying that they are divorcing because of his narcissistic ways. Okay, Binky. So yeah, she was definitely telling too much of their business in public. Okay, so he's retired. Yeah, so it looked like he kind of just sat down somewhere and was doing a family thing. So she said they were divorcing because of his narcissistic ways. Basically, she said he would get upset and start arguments with her when she was out trying to work, and trying to basically keep their name in the forefront, keep her name in the forefront, work on her various projects and progress in her career. And he really wanted her at home. And then she said when she would stay home, he still wanted to argue. So it was a situation where she couldn't really win for losing. So the topic of this video is, should women date men who are less successful than them? And let's be clear, to make it to the NBA, that is something that a very small percentage of the population ever does, right? So I'm not going to downplay the fact that Iman Shumpert went to the NBA. You got to understand, if you go to any high school in America and you go ask all the boys who want to go to the NBA, there are hundreds of boys literally in one school who want to go to the NBA. Um, there is a lot of stiff competition. So to just make it to the league in general, that is an accomplishment. However, what I will say with Iman is, I feel like when he got with Teyana, and she's a hustler, right? I believe he got very comfortable. It seems like she kind of took a lead on a lot of the business dealings in their relationships. And what I have learned about a lot of men is, if you allow it and you take the lead and you take the initiative and you do a lot of things by yourself, they get very comfortable. I know that we think that it's natural for men to want to be out hunting and providing, but you would be very surprised at how easily they just kind of settle into a routine and want to be at home and don't want to be outside hustling or getting no money once they feel like they're in a comfortable situation. And it's not just men, like there are a lot of people like that. So what do you do when you get with somebody and at first y'all were on the same level, but then you've outpaced them in terms of financial growth, in terms of aspiring to your dreams? And not only that, they seem to have a problem with you outpacing them. And that seems to be the problem that a lot of women deal with. I remember watching the great what is not the great debaters, what's that movie called, with the teacher that goes to the hood and she helps all the kids pretty much begin to love learning, Freedom Writers. Okay, so um if y'all remember that movie and that dynamic, she was married to a lawyer, I believe, and her husband just wanted to go to work and do his job and come home and drink beer and chill. But Erin Gruwell, that's the teacher's name, and this was in real life, this happened. She got so entrenched in her job and she wanted to be the best teacher that she could be. So she took up like two and three jobs to help her pay for her jobs, takes these kids on field trips, spend a lot of time with them. And then eventually her husband left her because he said, "You make me feel bad about myself. Every time you come home, I just feel bad." And he just wants to live a regular life. And she was always encouraging him to follow his dreams, to go back to school for architecture, like he's always said he wanted to do. But he didn't really want to do those things. Like he said he wanted to, but he wasn't willing to put in the effort to do those things. So he felt ashamed about himself every time he was with his wife. So it's like, what do you do in that kind of situation? Well, I'm going to bring this back to women. I feel like a lot of women, and I've done this, I've been guilty of this in my lifetime. I feel like a lot of women, especially now with the rhetoric on the internet, that men don't care about our degrees and our success. They care about if we can cook or clean. There are a lot of women who will listen to that advice and just say to hell with their dreams, as if they don't have one life to live, as if they get to do this thing over again. Let me tell you something. I've done that. I cook and I clean. Me and my daughter live together. I cook and I clean for her. Like, those are just basic life necessities. But that can't be the only thing that you live to do. Now, for some women, they're okay with that. They don't have any goals, dreams, or aspirations. But if you do, and you know that you're going to get to the end of your life and regret not completely accomplishing your goals and dreams, why would you give that up just so you can be with somebody that it seems that you are unequally yoked with? There's nothing wrong with somebody saying, hey, I just want to live a regular life, an average life. I just want to go to work, come home, sleep and drink and do all that. Now, in my opinion, if you're not progressing, you're deteriorating. There's no in between. That's usually how it goes. But if somebody wants to live their life like that, that's fine. And I think the right thing for a person like that to do is just leave. But instead, in a lot of these situations, the partner that does not want to progress does not want to leave because they know they've gotten with a winner, right? So instead, they stay and they put all those insecurities off on that partner until they are forced to leave. And I've actually seen this happen to a male as well. So one of my coaches in high school, y'all, when I tell y'all, that was one of my very first examples of what a fully actualized man was like. He got did dirty by his wife. So she had a job as an engineer, but she hated her job, and she didn't think enough of herself to go try to figure it out and find something that she really loved to do. And he worked at the school district as a coach, and he was also a counselor. So he spent a lot of his time at the school, mentoring the kids that didn't necessarily have anybody that they can talk to. And he helped a lot of us get through high school and graduate. And when I tell y'all, this man was so disciplined, he kind of reminds me of one of my other cousins. So he used to be fat. He lost all the weight. I never saw him eat bread. He would pray. He wouldn't drink. He was just a wholesome kind of man, even to be that kind of man surrounded by teenage girls. And not one of them will say he ever was inappropriate with us or made us feel uncomfortable. But he was really invested in our success. He would figure out how to fund field trips with us. And it wasn't just us, he had boys that he did this with. And his wife didn't want to be involved in it. Like, she would get upset that he was so invested in the kids, but she didn't want to come along. She didn't want anything to do with it. And I remember one time we were having a therapy session, and he told us that, he really hates the fact that he cannot be the sole provider monetarily in his house, because he doesn't like that his wife does not like her job and that she's so stressed, and that he's working towards being able to just pay all the bills so that she can do what she wants to do. Well, turns out that she just wasn't a supportive partner, and then she was ended up having an affair with a man that wasn't even half the man that he was. So, instead of just leaving and saying, hey, I'm not cut out for this, like, your goals and your dreams are too big for me, she decided to, get her get backs in the form of cheating. So, of course, they got a divorce, and now he's married to a wonderful woman who is equally as amazing. But imagine if he would have said, during those times she was complaining about him trying to self-actualize and do the thing that he loved. Imagine if he would have said, I'm going to give all of this up. I'm not going to be great at what I do just to keep my wife happy, and stay home with a person who ultimately is unhappy with themselves and insecure. Now he's actually found somebody who can match his energy, and they can go be great together. That she can go do her thing, he can go do his thing, but he's able to leave the kind of mark in this world that he wants. So that's really the message that I want to put out today. DJ Batman said, "Are you a boss babe?" Um what do you mean by am I a boss babe, DJ Batman? I don't have any employees. I work a 9 to 5. I'm actually a teacher. So I don't know what you mean by that. I do pay all my own bills. Because I have to. That's another thing that really irritates me, y'all. The conversations that we have about the economics surrounding relationships and people trying to progress are so unrealistic. The economy is in shambles right now. So when I hear men get on the internet telling women they need to be at home cooking and cleaning and having children, my mind automatically goes to, with what money? These kids are expensive. The rent where I live in Dallas has skyrocketed. So it's just unrealistic to expect women to not have jobs and to not be working a lot, actually, because you can't live and survive otherwise. And that's why these conversations kind of irritate me. And then when we think about somebody like Teyana Taylor, well, they're so used to a certain level of lifestyle that they have to maintain that we might think they have a lot of money, but you don't know how much their mortgage and car payments cost and how much they have to pay teams and photographers. Their expenses are way more than an average person. So she has to work. Bianca, rent is crazy here in Orlando too. Yeah, $2,000 a month for how many rooms, girl? Hell, for $2,000 a month, I need I don't know, a 4 bedroom house with 2.5 bathrooms. That's what that sound like to me. But no, honestly and truly, rent here in Dallas is about that 2,000 for like a 2 bedroom. Um, I'm not paying that, but that's the going rate. I just kind of have stayed at the apartment complex I've been at and haven't moved anywhere and have stayed as close to my original rate as possible. So Binky, you're saying the rent is $2,000 a month. Now, what do you think when men tell you that you need to be at home cooking and cleaning and that you shouldn't be focused on your career? Can you afford to not focus on your career? Do you even think that the average woman can afford to not be focused on getting some money right now? Because I don't know too many people that can do that, be it male or female. Right, but in this situation, what do you do when you have a partner who is jealous because simply because you're trying to do your job? Mr. Life has evolved over the last 100 years. The narrative in relationships has changed in the last 100 years. Well, actually, Mr. D, that's a very interesting statement to make. So, for those who don't know, I teach history. This year I'm teaching US history. And I just got done talking about World War I. I taught the Roaring Twenties, and then we just finished with the Great Depression. And when I say things happen in cycles, that is so true. So people think that this is the first time in American history that women have had this mindset of we want to be independent and we want to pay our own bills. Um, DJ Batman says, we want to, boss babe. Okay. That's what he said. Bianca said, I can't afford that. I have to work. Yeah. It's not even us wanting to flex on men as a lot of people would have y'all believe. We just have to. There's no other way. So a lot of people believe that this is the first time in history that women want to be out on their own and be single and forego childbirth, but it's actually not. Okay. When we look back to the 20s, also known as the Roaring 20s, what you have to understand is after World War I, when the men came back, a lot of the women had to give up their jobs so that men could come work in the factories, right? And the women were not too happy about that because during World War I, a lot of men were off at war, and the women were out here pretty much making it happen for themselves. So when they came back and then we moved into the 20s, a lot of the women decided that they wanted to actually, leave the countryside, forego childbirth, move into the cities, or if they were already in the cities and they had worked a factory job, they were like, well, now I can get a job as a secretary or get a job in an office. And then the way that women dressed even changed. I mean, I remember there was a point in history not too long before that if you showed your ankles, you were considered a whore. But these women who were called flappers started wearing, lipstick and makeup and dresses that were all the way up to their knees, which was really controversial at the time. And, at that time, she was the modern woman. She was foregoing marriage and childbirth, or at least putting it off until a later date. And then what happened? The Great Depression hit, and a lot of people got together because they simply could not afford to live by themselves. So you get a lot of relationships coming together at a necessity. Women saying, I pretty much have to go be with the man now. Um, and then you have a lot of, again, relationships that are put together out of necessity, but then there's brokenness. A lot of violence and alcoholism occurred in the homes during those times, as well as a lot of children died because people simply could not afford to feed their kids, or a lot of women just couldn't produce enough breast milk or afford to buy enough milk to feed kids. So when I think about this time in history that we're at now, the previous decade to me had been very reminiscent of the Roaring 20s. And then we're in a recession now, about to be deeply entrenched in a depression. All of the markers are there. This is gonna happen. There, it's inevitable at this point. And I'm predicting women could either go one or two ways here. I see a lot of women online pushing that we need to find protector provider men, but that's not an option anymore. With the rise of AI, 40% of the job market is about to be wiped out. Inflation is rising. We are seeing the beginning stages of a world war. So some of these conditions that are already present, they don't even make it possible for women to go find protector provider men, because we're all about to be in a situation where we're in this together and economically depressed. Um, DJ Batman said, "Are you a good catch for a BM black man?" I don't know. That would depend. You'd have to ask a black man. I don't know. Everybody has different wants, needs, and desires. Mr. D, Iman and Teyana's relationship breakdown had nothing to do with finances. It had to do with their recreational activities, if you get my drift. I think so as well, and I agree with you too, Binky. Teyana does have a lesbian energy. Well, she said that she was the one that told Iman that she wanted to do those threesomes. And I always see her all up on women. I actually think she probably prefers women. Iman probably knows this too. I think she prefers women. I think she was with Iman for the image. So there has to be some accountability there as well. I think she loved, Black love, black family. We have our beautiful kids, and we're out here taking pictures. Am I saying she did not love him? No, I'm not saying that. Um, I think that that's just he's just not her cup of tea. Yeah, yeah, Binky. She's went on record saying that's her idea. Now that might not be true. Sometimes women try to lie to save face because women, we can judge other women. So a lot of women were calling her dumb and saying she was doing all that just to keep a man. Which again, we might not never know, but she has went on record saying that that was her idea to indulge in those extracurricular activities. I guess I'm speaking particularly to her saying that he has narcissistic ways and would get upset because she was working and then still be upset if she stayed home. It was like, this is a lose-lose situation here. You just don't want me going after my dreams and standing in that. So it's unequally yoked. They were having three score. Teyana was seeing women during their marriage, and Iman got tired of being left out, so he started seeing women as well. Well, that might have been the case, Mr. D. I don't doubt that she was probably out here dealing with women by herself with Iman not present. Because even the ways that she would interact with Kaylani and the stuff she would do on stage with women was just completely inappropriate. And I know a lot of women feel like, well, if I do it with a woman, we're both women, so it's not cheating or it's not disrespectful. But I have to disagree with that. Yeah, so I'm not in any way saying that Iman uh is a bum or anything like that. I What I will say is I feel like Iman became unfocused while he was with Teyana. I think he took the back. I don't think he was really putting in that work like he should have been in terms of developing his own career. And I wonder why he left the NBA or retired from the NBA. So, did he get cut or did he decide he didn't want to play basketball anymore? Because Amon is still pretty young. Only thing she gave up was singing. And at this point, she kind of had to. Now, don't get me wrong, she has some solid albums. Tiana's an amazing vocalist. But I remember when she was 16 years old. She's been doing this she has years in the game now. She's a veteran. At some point, she had to look at other career paths or figure out how to be in the industry but more behind the scenes, and that's actually working for her. She puts together amazing visuals and videos. I mean, she has style, creativity, and imagination for days. He won Dancing with the Stars. Okay, so I see he was doing some things. So, Mr. D, why do you think he did not want Teyana outside working? Why do you think he would fight with her and argue with her every time she stepped out the house to go work? Because that's what she's saying was going on. Um, DJ Batman, you can give your opinion on this too. I welcome any dissent. She did 3 movies. When did she do them 3 movies? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to read y'all's comment. When did she do them 3 movies? He was upset because she started to see women on her own. Where did you see that? Where have you seen that he was upset because she started to see women on her own? DJ Batman, you can give your Opinion on the topic, DJ Batman, about why you think that Iman would get upset with Teyana every time she would go work. And then when she would stay at home, he would be upset. Because that's crazy to me. I'm gonna be honest, I had a relationship like that before. Um, the relationship was real toxic, and I was like, I started off insecure, but then I got older and I started accomplishing more things for myself. And it's like the better I tried to become and the healthier I tried to become as a person, he just wanted to argue. He wanted to start a fight. The more he saw that I was trying to do things differently, that I was really coming into my own and happy and developing friendships with other women, it just irritated him. And eventually I had to move around. Okay. Let's see. Let's use the word allegedly because it was spoken about on a few podcasts. I'm gonna have to go try to find that information. Maybe he wanted her attention, period. Some men are like that. Yeah, I can't do it. If you want some attention, just say you want some attention. If you want some of my time, baby, just say you need some of my time, but you ain't got to argue. You ain't got to make me feel bad because I'm out here trying to accomplish my dreams and make this money. So allegedly he started doing his thing and that was the demise of their relationship. Yes, well, I could see that cuz I did see where he has a girlfriend now and I'm like, "Well, dang, didn't she just file for divorce?" But I mean, they've probably been separated. But I don't know because these celebrities lie and Iman has said that she says certain things just to uphold their image. I don't necessarily believe that they've been separated for months. I think that information hit the internet, and to save face, she told all of us that they've been separated for months. But yeah, he probably was cheating with Shorty. I heard some men are like that with their own children, upset that the woman isn't solely focused on them anymore. Kiki Palmer's baby daddy said that. Did he say that? Well, no, he said something like he was jealous of Kiki's bond with the baby. He did say something to that effect. Cause he a simp. Well, how would you handle the situation? Yeah. I feel like if you're a woman who is successful and even a man, because that's the thing, a lot of men think that they want a woman that's going to be sitting at home waiting on them to get home while they accomplish their dreams, and that gets real annoying real quick because somebody who doesn't have anything to do or somebody who's not focused on their own self-development, what you think they gonna do? They ain't got nothing to do but to get on your nerves and wonder where you're at, what you're doing, and start arguments for no reason because they're hyper focused on you. I couldn't imagine being a successful man having to deal with that. Like, um, an idle mind is the devil's playground because a woman could be at home like you want her to be while you're out getting money. But it's only so many clothes you can fold and dishes you can wash and baby bottles you can make before you get bored and you want to start an argument. Now that their divorce is public, I wonder if that TikTok about them was true that the white girl made without saying their names. Girl, Binky, tell me the information. Hold on now. I don't know what you're talking about. This is tea. The state of relationships between men and women are in danger of being non existent, especially in the Black community. Yeah, I think it's worse in the Black community, but it seems like the problem is globally. That's what I was saying to these passport bros or when I went to Mentuition because a lot of men seem to be under the delusion that these toxic relationship dynamics only exist between American men and women when globally everybody is complaining about each other. Okay. globally the birth rate is going down. Globally, women are foregoing having children. Um, so you can go to any country and talk to the local people about what's really going on, and they're all going to complain about the opposite sex to some degree. So, here's the thing, everywhere you go, there you are. So, if you haven't done the work on yourself, then it doesn't matter where you go. The same issues in relationships that persisted for you here in America are going to persist with you if you go somewhere else. However, if you would like to do that, that's your business. Girl, what? You didn't hear about that? This white girl made a TikTok about a female R&B singer that was in the hospital over distressed about her husband, but paints a pretty picture. Okay, but hold on. What was she in the hospital distressed about? So was she distressed because he was cheating or because he was being narcissistic? Teyana threatened to sue and everything. I'll see if I can find it real quick. I believe that Bianca, because again, Iman has said she does the most to try to save face, and for her, it's all about image, how it looks. She wants people to think that she's this round the way chick that doesn't get cheated on. Remember when she was like, Iman knows better. When he got accused of cheating that first time, he knows I would kill him. And I'm like, girl, that ain't never stopped no man from cheating. What? These men know we crazy. They don't care. I wanted to get on that stream that night with you, but stay tuned. You have a part two coming up on intuition, which I will be on the panel with you. I fell asleep that night. Have they already posted that we're gonna be on that part two, Mr. D? Um, how did you feel about that stream? I'll be honest with y'all. It's very difficult for me to kind of branch out. I'm so used to Binky and AP. Yeah, Binky, that live was long. I feel like it was good. I'm so used to a level of comfortability in the YouTube space because I'm so used to, for example, like AP, when he gets on his channel on AP for Life, he's genuinely giving his opinion on stuff. He doesn't necessarily have a demographic to cater to. Like he doesn't care. And you can tell like his thoughts have evolved on certain things, some things have stayed the same, but you can bet your bottom dollar that whatever comes out of AP's mouth, he's not thinking at all about what his viewers and subscribers are going to say. He don't care. But when I'm going on a lot of these channels that cater to certain demographics, um I'm very nervous, and that's why I kind of haven't did it. And I've had other YouTubers reach out, so that was me just really kind of dipping my toe in the water. I'm very nervous because it's hard to tell what they genuinely believe and what they're saying because they know it's gonna get somebody to send a cash app or it's gonna boost their subscribership up. I'm used to having very nuanced, balanced, um and well thought out conversations and listening to understand. And I'm not saying that the men on Mentuition were not listening to me, but for me it was always like I was always aware, hey, don't get too emotional about certain things that are being said because there is a demographic that is being catered to here. And it was kind of uncomfortable because I'm not used to having conversations in that kind of dynamic. Now, with that said, again, Steve and International Al, they were very kind. So I don't want to make it seem like they were making me uncomfortable. It's just, again, if y'all go watch the type of collaborations I've done with AP, y'all will see. Like if y'all watch the video I did on the Passport Bros with AP, and he brought up another guest who also travels internationally, and the panel that we did, it was so much more free flowing. We're shooting from the gut. We're not really concerned about what the audience thinks. Like we're genuinely having this conversation to come to an understanding. He said, "You shouldn't be nervous. It's great that women can be involved in the conversation." I guess I'm nervous, Mr. D, because again, when you cater to an audience that likes to see women getting like dunked on, for example, I'm sure the same people that watch Men Tuition watch Fresh and Fit. And again, when you cater to an audience that already has a particular mindset around women, they don't they don't necessarily, and I'm not talking about the host per se, I'm talking about the audience. They don't want to actually see the men and women agree on any points at all. They want to see an argument. Hence why the title of the video was it's a heated debate over the Passport Bros. Is sex tourism right or wrong? Well, for me, it was never a right or wrong discussion. And to me, the conversation never got heated. And I don't think that the brothers on that channel intended to argue with me, right? But they know their audience, and they know the type of drama that their audience wants to see. You understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah, okay, Binky. Yeah, you should definitely do a video about that TikTok because they're definitely trending again now. The video claims a singer learned her husband cheated on her before she was discovered on the bathroom floor after having too much candy. Oh, yes, I remember that she allegedly had an overdose. The singer in said video then shares an Instagram post. Oh, so hold on, maybe she really did love of mine. Girl was trying to take herself up out of here. The singer in said video then shares an Instagram post on November 28th to update fans on her health, which Taylor did herself on that date after a hospital visit. I remember her being in the hospital, Mr. D, and you kept framed that night. Yes, I had to be very cognizant. Again, I could be a little bit more loose when I go on AP's channel, right? Because that's that conversation again, we talk outside of YouTube. That conversation is more on a friend thing, and I'm coming on this channel, and I've also seen on their channel that they interview, like there's a Hispanic guy, and he kind of does this panel with all these girls who I don't want to talk about them, but they're just lacking in some understanding. I'm going to say that about the girls. And they're girls who are easy to kind of trip up in a conversation. Yes, Hector is his name. So, like, I see that they're like not intentionally choosing women who are well spoken and women who can stand up for themselves. So, Hector can kind of control the flow of the conversation, throw bait out there, and the women just eat it up every time. Um, so I'm like, okay, I don't really see them talking to women who can keep up. I don't even want to say keep up. I don't see them talking to women who can have conversations that are deeper than the surface level. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm nervous because that's not the conversation that I want to come on here and have. Like, I'm not interested in having these conversations on traditionalism, the men's going out and working and the women staying at home. It's just not realistic. So let's not talk about things that don't matter. Okay, especially in the economy that we're going into. Like, let's talk about things that are deeper at this point because we have a lot more concerns here as Americans than whether or not somebody is staying at home cooking or and cleaning, and it's just not a realistic conversation to have. Okay, it's not a realistic conversation to sit up and talk about, oh, the birth rates are declining when a lot of people can't even afford to feed the kids that they already have, and there's absolutely nothing being done about it. So I feel like a lot of these conversations that we're having surrounding male and female dynamics are to detract from the very real situation economically that we're all being faced with. Just like these soft life girls, I think soft life was bred out of a lot of these independent chicks who have to pay their own bills, saying, okay, well, I want to stay at home all day and do facials and do yoga and not work as much and find a man who's willing to pay my bills. And it's like, girl, they barely paying their own bills. And again, I'm not saying if a woman doesn't want a man who's wealthy that she should not look for that or aspire to that. But realistically, we're all not going to be able to get that. And realistically, unless you already have that, you can't live a soft life. We're seeing all these women on YouTube who are unmarried and single call themselves living a soft life. Sis, no, you not. You making it look like you living a soft life. You get on this camera with this makeup and these flowy dresses on, and you have everything in your visuals perfectly curated, but you tired just like us. You are working hard just like us because everything is expensive and going up. And I don't understand why nobody is having that conversation. Okay, because that's the real problem here. I just sent you the IG post, and the last slide is the TikTok. I'm gonna have to watch that. Okay, so Mr. D, Parallel Perspective. So that's the name of the show that Hector does. Now, did y'all see when Knack Measy came on at the end? I would like for him to get on the panel again, Mr. D, too, because again, he reminds me of my cousin, and I feel like he had a message that not a lot of men hear. I think it's very hard for people to follow the path less walked, the path less traveled. Um, Even like as a woman, when you're trying to do better in certain areas and have discipline in certain areas, you have to separate yourself from certain women, right? I feel like that's even more so when we're talking about men, because I have noticed when there are men who genuinely don't cheat or are trying to be disciplined, you'll have men who are like, oh, they're lying, all men cheat. It's like the men who do it don't want to believe that there are men out here who are controlling themselves. So it's easier to just say they're a liar, even if you have absolutely no proof. Yeah, Mr. De Niro is the road. I mean, if you're not going down the path less traveled and you're doing everything everybody else does, you can look in society and see where you're gonna be. For example, I'm a teacher, right? And teaching is a very difficult job. And if I were to fall into the teaching culture, I can look around at a lot of my coworkers and see, well, a lot of them give so much of themselves to this job, but then they completely burn out. So now they're completely lazy in their classrooms, and because they're lazy in their classrooms, uh the kids know that they don't care, so the kids don't care, and that's a bad combination because they're already not being given any discipline to actually care. And then on top of that, a lot of these teachers are so depressed from their job that they go home and watch TV and drink wine, and before you know it, they gain so much weight and they've exploded and completely given up on their life, and they sit on the phone all night and gossip with other teachers about what's going on at work. So I said, okay, that's not gonna be me, right? But in order for that not to be me, I have to put in a lot of work. When I tell you I get up early in the morning, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm not gonna be one of these teachers who comes to work not caring about the way I look. No, I get up, I make sure I look nice and presentable, my hair's done. Most days I'll put some makeup on and I go, and I'm very intentional about being as energetic, right? And giving as quality of instruction that I can. And I get a lot out of my kids because of that. And then guess what? I gotta come home and, I gotta try to watch what I eat and work out and still work on all of my other goals outside of school, right? Still have friends in a social circle and I have a group of women that we talk to each other daily about, hey, this is what we're doing for ourselves, this is what we're accomplishing. We set quarter 1 goals. Hey, this is my progress on that. So I had to do that because I knew if I didn't experience, and what I can look around and see for the majority told me that I was going toward a dead end road if I didn't, and that I was going to just let myself go and let my life completely slip through my hands without having accomplished anything for myself. That's part of the reason why I said this year I'm going to be intentional and really put forth the effort into this YouTube channel and not let my life and my identity completely get wrapped up in that job. Yeah, Binky is hard. I get it. Like, I understand why people give up. Honestly and truly, I understand why people be like, bump it. I'm going to get lost in this escapism. But I mean, if you're not progressing, you're deteriorating. I'm 30 years old. I see people who are 40 and 50 years old and they've given up on life. And I'm like, if you do this thing right and God willing, you still have another 30 or 40 years to live, and you going to choose to live it like this? Yes, balance is definitely key. Even when you're disciplined, sometimes you have to a lot of times you have to have moments where you sit down and stop and take it all in and enjoy. And it's not all about hustle, hustle, hustle and accomplish everything in one day, certainly. Yes, Bianca, it does. It does affect you. And that's one thing I've had to be very intentional about as well. So I work with teenagers, and mind you, I love my kids. Um, I like teenagers. I have 11th graders. And the amazing thing is, you can reason with them. A lot of them are in that stage where they're developing their identity. They're getting ready to go off to college very soon. But because I have to do so much parenting at my job, because a lot of the parenting ain't been done on the front end, and I have to do a lot of talking, and not even just that, just the effort I put into my lessons to make them interesting, because this demographic of kids, they are addicted to social media. So you have to pretty much put on a performance every day just to get them to pay attention to you. And on top of that, a lot of kids don't like US history. So I have to go above and beyond to make it relevant to them, right? But I would find myself coming home and getting irritated because I don't want to talk to anybody. But I have a 7-year old and she's an only child, and she wants to talk to me, because if she doesn't talk to me, she doesn't have anybody else to talk to. And these are the times when she's youngest, and I'll never get those moments back. So I've had to be really intentional about sitting down with her, asking her questions. And then I've also had to be considerate of herself. And there's times where I straight up tell her, hey, today mommy is really tired. Um, I just don't have the energy for that today. But on days like that, instead of us talking, just come sit with me. Just come, hey, when I come lay down with me. I love you. Okay. I can't read you a book today. You're old enough to where you can read. Can you read it to me? So that's how I've tried to balance that. Yes, Binky, it's definitely more draining compared to previous jobs. And then it also creates an anxiety about your performance as a mother because you're constantly aware that if you don't do certain things really young, that there are going to be unfavorable outcomes that you witness yourself in older children every single day. It's constant pressure. Yeah, Mr. D. I'm working on that too. Like, so I'm trying to develop a really solid meditation habit and a really consistent one. But that's helped me try to be more present and try to draw my thoughts back to what's right in front of me, especially when I get to worrying. But okay, y'all, I'm so tired. Look, it's 9:26 where I'm at. And I still have to work out. I have not worked out today. Um, but it was really good chatting with y'all. Bianca, thank you for coming, sis. You're always present. I really appreciate your presence. Like, it definitely doesn't go unnoticed. And Mr. D, thank you for showing up. I'm glad that you found me on Mentuition channel. I believe that's where you found me. And I'm looking forward to doing the panel with you. I think that'll be really interesting. I'm excited to kind of dip my toe in the water and get my name out in these YouTube streets. Y'all don't understand, for so long I've been so afraid. I remember I made a video one time, um and like overnight it got almost 6,000 views, and it was basically my review of Kevin Samuels, and it was a pretty balanced review. Like, I agreed with some of the things he said, and I really only disagreed with one thing that he said. But when I tell you, the manosphere came for me in those comments, and it wasn't like my, yes, Binky, it got, and I privated the video because it I was getting so many comments, and I'm a very low key person. Like, if you meet me in person, I'm fun to be around. I'm a free spirit, but in terms of internet attention, I really am very low. So when I got that amount of attention that quick, and then a lot of it was very negative attention too, and it was negative for no reason. Because again, if I was to like, um what is that, unprivate the video, I didn't say anything that was controversial at all. um it just kind of made me back up. And I remember it was a while before I got on YouTube again because I was like, let some of this momentum die down. I don't think I'm ready for this. I think I'm in a completely different space now. Like, I think I care far less about the attention or what people have to say. But at that time, I wasn't ready. Yeah. Yeah. So you're just like me with that. But I said we have to get out of that because that's the problem. People hear all the voices that are angry and uh don't want to understand, that are unreasonable, that are unrealistic, are catering to a lot of their negative feelings. So we let those people have a platform, and the people that really need to be talking are so low key that nobody hears us. So I said, okay, this year I'm going to try to do things differently and get my message out, but I'm going to do it on my terms for sure. But okay, y'all, thank y'all for joining me. It's been real, and y'all have a good night.